You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And as always, thank you, Mr. Anthony Henry, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan, of the Big Sports Talk Podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, I have a very special interview with a very special guest, and I think you guys will enjoy this one. Before I get into it, there's a couple things I want to say up front. You should have seen my last video with the Maryland women's basketball team as our run to the national championship painfully came to an end Sunday against the North Carolina Tar Heels, which I'm still somewhat recovering, but that's okay. The Baltimore Orioles today got a victory over the Minnesota Twins. So 1-0 on the season for that. And if you've not seen the Lucio Conway interview I did last week, that should be up on the YouTube channel, but I have it on Twitter. So please like, comment, subscribe for all future content on the YouTube channel and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those different things like that. And I'd also put an article on teambsmedia.com of breaking down the last game of the year for the Maryland women's basketball team. I'm also probably going to do one more article, just kind of with the viral clip of Coach Freeze and the Lucio Kanawa. That's kind of now, I think, we got a little too much dip on our chip, but that's enough talk for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on a very special guest at this time. I always enjoy getting knowledge, especially when it comes to not just the game of basketball, but behind the scenes of basketball. And I think it's important to learn how one, I wish I had people like this in my inner circle. I think it's important to help keep you grounded, keep you focused. That's I think one aspect of life, in my personal opinion. But I think this person, I think you guys will enjoy for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give a warm welcome to Mr. Gregory Jones.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I know I had to reschedule a couple times. My bad about that. So there's been a lot going on with, just especially this college season, then obviously with the CBA stuff. But yes, I'm glad I was able to finally come on. Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And no need to apologize. The same thing, like the schedule, like Maryland, I thought it was going to be in College Park, and then that didn't happen. And then it's like, oh, they played Friday, they played last Friday, and then Sunday. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like the scheduling, the timing. So it's all good. Gary, Indiana. So
yes, sir.
Just one. Can you just talk about one, just you yourself as a former basketball player? Where did that start for you?
Yeah, I mean, that started in the womb. I have older brothers. So I had I have four brothers. I have Out of my my four brothers, three of them are older and two played. I had one of my brothers played in high school with Glenn Robinson. They was on the same high school team at Roosevelt and Gary, Indiana, with the legendary coach Ron Heflin. I had another brother who played at Gary Westside. So it started early, and then it's like, how in families you have certain things that are just kind of like your trade. Basketball was like there for us, right?
Okay.
And it's a age gap between myself and my two older brothers, 12 plus years. So I had to, my mom was like, "Oh no, you gotta take them with you." You know what I'm saying? Me and my little brother. So my little brother, we have a joke. We're Irish twins. So for 11 days out of the year, we're the same age. So it was like they got to take both of us, sitting with them, and it was just being able to see um certain things. Like I remember, you know young, I mean, like elementary, Tubby Smith coming to Gary Roosevelt to recruit, players, and like a lot of the players that were at our house when I was a kid, like a Glenn Robinson or like a George Butler who played at Georgetown, right? Who was at
Okay.
Roosevelt, a Quadri Lawless who played at Westside and went on to play at the college level, and it's so many names, right? And you get a chance to kind of just be indirectly a student of the game early,
Right.
right? And then my dad didn't play, but he was really really into basketball, and he always took us around. Like I remember, like in the third or fourth grade, going to see Cincinnati versus DePaul, right? That's
Okay.
Q Rich, Lance Williams, like Melvin Levitt at Cincinnati, Kenyon Martin, all
Dean
those guys.
Martin.
So it was like, man, you get to really see what it is, and at that age, those individuals look like superhumans. And as you get,
Superheroes.
yeah, and you get older, you like, man, they was college kids, right? They was
Exactly.
kids, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's funny, and it just kind of just grew, and and basketball is kind of affording me um some things in life that I do not take for granted, right? And it's helped me along my journey. And a lot of the things that I do, I was starting in basketball, but some of my great friendships came from the game of basketball as well too. So I'm blessed.
Absolutely. I like to hear. I love that. When you were playing basketball, was there a rival? It could be an individual or a school that
hmm
every time you walked into the gym and left the gym,
hmm
you let the crowd know that I'm the best in the room.
Oh, for sure. We had a couple of those. I went to Bishop Noll High School that was in Hammond, Indiana. So I'm from Gary, Indiana. My mom's from East Chicago Central. So,
Okay.
like our real people say our rival is Andran High School. I don't even say the name Andran. We say the school on Broadway because it's on Broadway Street in Maryville. But our real rival is East Chicago Central.
Mhm.
That's our real rival, and they've had some amazing alum come out of that school from a cousin of mine is Judah Parks,
Okay.
to Etwan Moore, who played at
Etwan
Purdue,
Moore.
that played in the league.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
To Ricky Wright that played at Villanova. Carlson Udi Baker, Marcus Jefferson. They've had a slew of people. So every time we play them, even till this day, it's kind of like the scene on The Wire when Avon and them go play the game. It's like that. That's how it is, man. Because it's so many. It's Bishop Noll and East Chicago are so intertwined because you have
Mhm.
um parents that have probably went to Bishop and their kids EC, or vice versa, or high school sweethearts who one went to Bishop and one went to East Chicago Central, and we're legit separated by train tracks.
Thanks. Mm. So it's
You
like
know what
a
I mean?
Romeo and
So
Juliet. Juliet.
yeah, man. And this year, it crushed me this year, man. We lost to them one of the last games of the regular season, and then we lost to them in sectionals in the postseason. So I was like, all right, it's gonna be a long spring or summer.
Oh my
You
gosh.
know what I mean? So, but like anybody that knows basketball in Indiana, basketball is like religion. High school basketball is,
Mhm.
is ridiculous. And normally when people come, they be like, "Whoa, what is this? Like this looks like college." So,
Mhm.
it's a blessing, right? But yeah, that's definitely the East Chicago Central Cardinals is the rival for sure.
You've seen, obviously, being in Indiana. I mean,
hmm
you think of Larry Bird, Isaiah
hmm
Thomas. You've seen plethora of legends. Like you yourself, like Indiana as a basketball state, in my opinion.
hmm
Like and you being a part of that, what does that mean to you?
It's almost like how when you meet people that they're from like New York City,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they just everything New York, everything the fitted cap. No, Tim started everything started in New York, right? So it's kind of
Right.
like that with basketball in Indiana. Is like, man, out of the top 10 biggest gyms in the country, we got 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and out of those 8, 5 of them are in my saying my county basically, right? We call it the region, Lake County, the region, which is Chicagoland. It's an interesting mix, right? Because it's kind of like how New York and Jersey is,
Right.
where you can go to Marquette Park, Miller Beach, in Gary, Indiana, and look straight across Lake Michigan and see downtown
Okay.
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
So that's how close we are. So it's interesting because we are part of Indiana and all the history, but our game style is more like Chicago.
Mm.
So like even growing up, we wasn't watching Indiana Pacers. We were watching the Bulls because of WGN.
Yeah, WGN, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like we was like all that was us. You know what I mean? So it was great, man. And to describe it is this it's amazing. Like East Chicago Central High School, for example, their gymnasium sits 8,000. You know what I mean? So Indiana high school basketball, I would say, is equivalent to how football is in Texas.
Right.
It's on the same like wavelength like that. You know what I mean? So it was amazing. I've been a part of some really cool games. I've seen some really cool games. Just as a spectator, one of the best environments I've seen is a couple of them. But one of the more recent ones is Dana Evans playing at East Chicago Central High School. I think they had like 5 Division I kids on their team. Man, they played a triangle. They played a triangle and 2 on Dana. So think about it. East Chicago Central had 5 D1 kids. They played a triangle 2 on Dana and guarded her from baseline to baseline in front
94 feet.
In front of like 8,200 people, and she still put up 50.
That's disgusting. I didn't. That's when you just gotta shake the person saying that's all you
Hey, you know what? Yeah, so like, man, I've seen some pretty cool games. Like I said, been a part of some pretty cool games as well too, and it's nothing like it. I tell everybody, like, if you get a chance to come to Indiana to watch some high school basketball, check it out.
Now you say you also been you as a player. Do you any recollection?
Man, a whole bunch, man. Like my sophomore year, we played in the Hall of Fame Classic. My sophomore year, and that was at Newcastle High School. That's the biggest high school gym in the country.
Okay.
It's set up similar. It's like a pit. It remind you kind of like with the green, like Michigan State almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most surreal experience you will ever have, and that was my first time. You get on the court, you dribbling, and it feel like it's a heartbeat, like boom, 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 and I'm like, okay, this is nice. I like this, right? So that was a great experience. Man, I had a few of those. Like so, obviously the rivalry games. Playing against East Chicago Central. So I'm 2 years older than Etwan Moore. So my senior year playing him as a sophomore, that was a really, really good game. They ended up messing around beating us by like 3 points. But that was a really, really good game as well. We've had, man, playing in the region, you have battles, you know what I mean? And then coming out of high school in 2005, when you look at the talent that was in the state of Indiana in 05, it was real. Like not even just my class, but the guys under me. So you look at it in my class, you had Luke Zeller. You had Josh McRoberts.
Josh McRoberts.
Deontay Vaughn. That was at Arlington. He ended up going to playing at Cincinnati. You had Greg Odom, Mike Conley with an 06 in the Indy area. You look at Eric Gordon was 07. Jeff Teague is 07. And then in the region, you have guys like good friend of mine is Josh Mayo, who went on to play at UIC. Had a tremendous career overseas. You have Luke Herringody, who became one of the all-time best at Notre Dame. So Luke went to the school on Broadway. He went there, right? So, which is crazy. When Luke was in the 8th grade, Luke was like 5'11".
Really?
Yeah, and just grew out of nowhere. Yeah, you had him. You got Tyrone Appleton, who was a dog. He played at Gary Roosevelt. Played at Kansas. Um, who else, man? One of my good friends still to this day, we call him Baby Shaq, Kenny Harris. He graduated in '03.
Hmm.
When and going into his junior year, he was actually the number one center in the country.
Wow.
High school teammate of mine, and then another one, Gary Patterson. He went on to play at Butler IUPUI. Brandon Cameron was in 2002. Matter of fact, so Gary Westside won state in 2002. They had Brandon Cameron, who went to Penn State, and then IUPUI. Chris Hunter, who played at the University of Michigan. Keith Christmas was at Middle Tennessee State. Sean Smith, one of my best friends that grew up down the street from me, he was at Northern Illinois. So like the not only just the state of Indiana, but the region itself, like we produce talent. You know what I mean? So it was dope, man, and it's even better now because I don't have any kids, but everybody else has kids now, and you see their kids. It is so funny, man, because genetics don't lie, right? So you see certain mannerisms in their game and certain things like that. It was interesting. But I would say a game that I remember my freshman year, we used to have the Gary Holiday tournament, and Gary Roosevelt played a kid from Louisville, Kentucky, long arms, huge hands, and he put on a show, and his name was Rajon Rondo. I was like, "Yo, what is what is going on?" He was getting busy, you know what I'm saying? So it's been dope because even like Gary Westside sits, I think, might be around like 7,000 or something like that. You know what I mean? And that's where Dana played her high school ball at, was West Side. So you know what I'm saying, it was amazing, man. It still is amazing because, like I said, basketball is a religion in Indiana, but basketball is your export to the world as well too. And it could have you experience so many different things in life from a cultural aspect that you never would have get a chance to, right? And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, you're able to just give back. And, you know, like I was saying it's substance in the soil, just give back, right? And replenish where you came from. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
I had a chance to see. Well, she didn't really play when she was here in Maryland. Mila Reynolds, who was at
Stop in Washington. Yeah.
To see like what her youngest sister was able to do, that is like that's an incredible feat. I know they're all at the University of Texas at Arlington now.
Yes, correct. Yep.
So to see all three of them playing together, it's wonders. Like seeing Skylar, Dana, but man, man, you brought up Josh McRoberts, Luke Herringoni. I forgot about those guys.
Yeah, and like the Reynolds sisters. So it's ironic because they played at South Bend, Washington. I had an event, Hoops for Pink. We rebranded it now to the Dana Evans Hoop Fest. Right. But I have that, which was a post Christmas tournament, girls varsity, and they played in it. Right, we've had them play in it. Rakia Jackson played in it when she was a junior in high school. At Detroit Edison. So like that was a good experience. Like my high school Bishop know, the girls coach is my cousin, and she's a year older than me. And I was like, this was what 2017, 18. I was like, hey, we're going to Detroit to play. Come on, we're gonna go take the team. And she's like, okay, cool. We get there, we play Detroit Edison. I think they ranked like number 10 in the country. Okay. At the time, like they had a whip, man. And that was everybody's like first time seeing Rakia Jackson like that, and they was like, okay, this is something different. and they came back a month later and played in my inaugural Hoops for Pink tournament. So like I said, I've been fortunate to be a part of some games as a player, but also, you know what I'm saying, as an event director, but also now in the capacity I'm in now to see some cool games and see some of the best as far as Take the Hardwood.
Now, not only have you guys religiously, or you said basketball is a religion for Indiana, but I still also have not recovered from Indiana whooping Maryland football for our homecoming this past season, and you guys are reigning national champions. So how's that feel?
Well, I'm not so I respect it because it's Indiana, but I went to Purdue, so that's another thing, right? It's like it get real serious, but I enjoy it because no one really expected them to be able to do what they did. And
Mhm.
and the coach, he had a plan, he stuck with it, right? And he's created a whole different culture down there in Bloomington for football. So just as a competitor, but also as someone who's just like a curator in what you do, I really respect everything that they're doing down there. But yeah, I know that was very hurtful for you guys for to see IU win like that for sure.
But as far as my next question,
Mhm,
transitioning with you with becoming an agent, especially
mhm.
being in the WNBA, how did that come about?
Yeah, so after I stopped playing, I kind of got into basketball backwards almost. When I
Mhm.
say backwards, was I was doing things internationally. I ended up becoming kind of like the global ambassador to the Egyptian Basketball Federation and helping them to kind of get kids here to America for high school and college, and then it spread into other countries throughout the continent of Africa. And actually, my mom one day was like, "Hey, this is cool and all, but you got to help back home." And when mom talk, you listen to mom, right? So I
That's
was like,
true.
okay,
That's true.
cool. So that's when I started to kind of call my cousin Vanita, who's the coach at Bishop, was like, hey, I'm gonna help you out, player development and all that stuff, and we're gonna build something. And this past year, she actually went over 200 wins, and is the first black male or female high school basketball coach in Indiana history to achieve that number.
Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. So that's how it kind of started, and then through the player development, I was like, you know what, this is great, and then I created G2 Hoops LLC, which is a sports marketing event management company back in 2017, and was like, you know what, I want to create certain events where I can sit and watch, right,
Mhm.
and create an experience for young ladies and young men to come to the region and just play basketball, right? And so that was going great. And then, obviously Dana's at the University of Louisville, and I've been knowing her forever, knowing her family forever. Because her dad, like I said, he grew up playing with my older brothers,
Okay.
and it was, so everything's tied in, right? And
Mhm.
I was really initially I was skill development with her, right, getting her together. And I want to say her going into her sophomore junior year, we was like, hey, you got to be more personable, because you just got this look on your face, and sometimes they could be intimidating, but people think you mean, but it's really you from you you're just from Gary, and you don't trust people, you just observing, so you chilling, but they take it a different way, right? And it was interesting because, like, by her being a dark skinned black woman, people
Mhm.
tried to stigmatize her with certain
Certain
things.
things.
And we
Yes.
was like, nah, we're not doing that. So we made a conscious effort, really, it was her junior year, to kind of really, really show her personality more and get her to just, be more open, like on IG Live and certain things like that. And she had an opportunity to leave her junior year, but was like, no, I want to come back. So
Mhm.
she came back, and I was just like, it doesn't make sense to have anybody else be your marketing agent, manager, and all that stuff, because they're not gonna get you and they're not gonna know you like that.
Right.
And I was like, I will feel really, really bad if I allowed you to go somewhere else and they just drop the ball, and I know I can help you.
For sure.
So that's kind of how it started. And we've been rocking and rolling since. She ended up getting drafted by Dallas, got traded to Chicago,
Chicago.
right?
Mhm.
That's a story in itself how that happened. And she ended up being all rookie team and winning a
Right.
championship, and she was the first to do it since Maya Moore. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was like, bet. And then fast forward, she leaves Chicago. She still loves Chicago to this day. You go to Vegas, and you pretty much, not so much. Oh, well, I guess you could say you had to kind of, like a phoenix rises from the ashes, because of her last year in Chicago wasn't the best with a lot of things that was going on. And she showed everybody that, I'm team first, and y'all gonna have to carry me on my shield. I mean, she played the whole season, basically with a torn meniscus the whole season, and nobody,
I didn't knew that.
yeah, nobody knew. Nobody knew. We just kept it to ourselves, and Vegas medical staff did an amazing job, but that just goes to not only her character, but like who we are as people. who we are as people, and what it means to be, what I'm saying, from Gary, Indiana. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is for the love of the game. And a lot of players, men or women, would have never done what she did last season. You know what I mean? And she played a very, very critical role
Yes,
in the success of the team. You know what I mean? So I think she showed a lot of people like, whoa, like this is the essence of the game, the love of the game that we really want to highlight and show.
I agree. I agree with that. I will say, only I'll give small pushback. I'll say you said about the Phoenix rising from the ashes. I felt like when she went to Vegas, I felt like she was already going to be a strong, subtle piece for them. I feel like she was coming out of a dumpster fire.
Well, that's why I say it that way, because when we first knew she was going to go to Vegas, I sent her a text like, "Hey, you going there to win a championship?"
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So for us, it was like we knew, like Chicago, it just didn't work out. Right, wrong, good, different. It is what it is. But we knew her going to Vegas. It was like she got another charge in her. Like, you know what? This is another challenge. This is another. I accept this, right? And so when I say Phoenix Ryan for the Ashes, because a lot of people counted her out when she left Chicago, because they looked at her as, and it wasn't her fault. A lot of, I mean, hell, I ended up being on Sports Illustrated because I started to speak out about some stuff that I was, and I was just like, nah, we not. One, you're not doing that to someone that's close to me, and you're not doing that to a black woman.
Exactly. And
like,
Isabel Harrison too.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? And I just didn't like that, because it's like you are allowing people to paint a narrative, and we understand in society these narratives could stick with you if you allow them to. You know what I mean? And I think we did a great job, and more importantly, Dana did an amazing job, because she had to go out there and play, right? And I think she showed just another side of her that people just didn't understand, nor did they know that she even had in her.
I like that. And that's actually what was one of my next questions, was your relationship with Dana Evans, because she was one of my favorite players coming out of Louisville, as well as Lamar Jackson, both. So, just like you kind of have like that brother sister relationship, like and kind of what the impact you've had on her career so far, and the impact she's had on your career so far as an agent.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like when you both kind of look at where you're coming from, where you both have till now, like have you both imagined like the success
it's funny you say that. We was just talking about this like 2 days ago, where it was like, I'm a real big believer in like setting goals, right? I'm big on my faith, right? I'm big on praying, asking God, and then and letting Him guide your steps and putting forth action, right? And with Dana, it's so funny because I think it's probably a post on Instagram. Up until like a year or two ago, I've never told Dana she played well.
Really?
Never. I've never told her she played well. I've never said, "Hey, man, you did a great." I've never done it, because it's always been on to the next. Let's get to it.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember I made a post, and I was just like, I really have not acknowledge certain things or say congrats or good job, or what I'm saying, because you gotta think about it. Even before the representation side of things, I was skill development, and I pay attention to certain things, right? It's like you should have held your follow through a little bit longer, or it's like you ain't gonna, it's a whole bunch of stuff, right? And she knows I mean well with it, and sometimes we tease each other with it a little bit. But yeah, I had to, it was like I said, a year or two. As a matter of fact, it was her camp. I think I want to say it was her camp in 24. I think it was like the first time I was just like really, really acknowledged that. And she was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was just like, "Man, no, so it's a very surreal moment, because she has 2 rings in 5 years. You know what I mean? And it's all blessings to God, because most players don't even get a chance to play in the finals.
That's true.
And you won 2 rings. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things that we got to really take a deep breath, and kind of for that second or minute, be in the moment and say, like, man, this is not normal.
That's true.
It's not normal. Now you can expect it and you can have that demand on yourself, but you still got to keep 2 feet on the ground too, though, and understand that it's not normal. Anything can happen, right? So understand what that is and embrace that, accept that, but also give back to that.
Now, you as an agent, what's one misconception people have that you say that's not true when it comes to handling the business side of a WNBA player?
Well, let's go a little bit deeper and peel a couple layers back and say as a black man,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I mean, or just a black agent in general, when you do look across the W, no matter if
Uh-oh. I think we might have lost Greg. Uh-oh. Can't hear you, Greg, or can't see you. Let's try to bring it back on. Oh, we have some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna try to bring it back on. And join again. All right, sorry about those, gentlemen. Little technical difficulties. We're back. So the question was, Greg, just misconceptions of an agent, and you were really speaking on to it as more as a black man. Just
yes,
you're pulling back the layers of the onion. So go ahead.
yeah, for sure. So I'm really big on representation is key, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we the more the better. And one of the things that we know in this capacity of being an agent, right? No matter if you're a marketing agent or player contract on the court agent, those are really like C-suite positions, right? As far as executives goes, right? And you really don't see a lot of us in those spaces. So because we're in the minority, for real in that, you see how certain things can come where maybe some people don't think you have the education, maybe they don't think you have the background to or the bandwidth mentally to deal with this on a day-to-day basis. But what they don't understand is this is still a part of the culture, and we are the culture, right?
Right.
And it's a lot of us that are doing amazing jobs in spaces, no matter if you're an agent, a manager, it could be in media, journalism, it could be all across the board, right? And for me, I just try to make sure that I am being not only a role model to individuals that are coming after me that are in elementary school, middle school, or high school. That's like, man, maybe I want to do things off the court, right? But I also want to be the standard currently and presently of understanding how one protect our black women, right? Like I'm really big on that. You know what I mean? Because you see it on a daily basis where you could open up Twitter, well, X, or see on threads where a lot of players they're lost, right? Because they don't have their own brand identity because people who represent them don't understand that, right? And that's a big thing for me. Well, people ask me all the time, do you want to take on more clients? So I have other W players that reach out all the time, and I'm just like, no, I don't, because one, I'm not a believer in just having someone be a number and putting them on a shelf. If we don't have a personable like relationship and we can't lock in, and I don't know who you are as a person, it serves me it serves me no nothing really, because it's just transactional, right? And a lot of things that's going on right now in our society, especially within our community, you can't be transactional, right? Because if we already know that we are behind the 8 ball, we do not have certain advantages as our counterparts, it can't be transactional.
You got to be transformational.
There you go. Right. So for me, it's more so of like the educational part, like knowing numbers, understanding brand identity, understanding how to talk. But more importantly, when you're in these rooms, don't lose yourself, right? Don't minimize yourself, right? But understand the difference between, the floor and the ceiling as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing when I came into the space as a freelancer with the Mystics.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing was surrounding myself with people and being an encyclopedia, especially with Black men and Black women in
Mm-hmm.
media. Cream Copeland,
Mm-hmm.
um, Tarika Brasby, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Christy Winter Scott,
Mm-hmm.
meeting you through the committee
Mm-hmm.
as an example, KDOT, so many
Mm-hmm.
others. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just being that encyclopedia and trying to
Yeah.
be transformational, especially with the way media is, especially towards the WNBA,
Mm-hmm.
and I think having that being that trying to be that transformative piece, I
Yes.
think will go a long way. Not just
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
not just on the court, but off the court as well.
Absolutely. Like even like I said, you brought up like the committee. Like I get on their spaces and I talk and I engage with whoever, because at the end of the day, I know it's a lot of people that are in my shoes, in my space, that don't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even by face and name, people really only can name maybe a handful of black agents. No matter if it's player contract or marketing agents in the W, like as far as like face and name, you know what I mean? And I like to tell people, it's like, man, I'm no different than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Gary, Indiana, and every day that I take a breath is another day above the ground that God has blessed me, and that I can help other people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in like the gatekeeping stuff that people be doing. My thing is like, what's for you is for you, and can't nobody take that away. Now you can give it away. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? You can give away that part of you, but as far as somebody taking it, they can't, because that like it's just like cooking, right? You
Right.
can give somebody the same ingredients, they can have the same oven, and whatever come out of the oven gonna taste totally different.
That's different. That's right. Yep. Don't change the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I like that. We had an interesting 18 months of what felt like a soap opera,
Mm-hmm.
and have WNBA season on time. I
Mm-hmm.
know for you behind the scenes it had to be stressful. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that you're still like trying to like understand and making sure,
Mm-hmm.
like numbers wise, like um I'm pretty sure when you got like the just like everybody else, like we're gonna have the 2026 season. Just what were your overall thoughts of that?
Well, one, I was like, whew, all right, cool. Let's get to it. Obviously, man, the W's come a long way, and we still have strides to make, but we have done some things that I don't think a lot of people would have thought that they would see in their lifetime. You know
Right.
what I mean? So so we got to celebrate some of the small victories, right? But you can't be satisfied, right? It's still, 'cause let's figure out some more things, more engagement, more viewership, which means that the women are getting paid more money, right? I think for me, the next thing is like, okay, now we see what they're going to make through the CBA, but I want that to reflect on the off the court deals, right? Again, I'm fortunate enough to have two clients, and Dana Evans and Azari Stevens, where they get
Yes.
paid. They get paid off the court. Like, we do a great job, and they have. But we're real strategic in those partnerships that we have, and
Mhm.
some of those partnerships we have equity ownership in a few of those things, right? Where I want that to kind of be the norm, right? And that goes back to the brand identity and knowing yourself, so that people can't just like finesse you, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
I'm interested to see from the shoe companies to other brand. I went out to the different brands within the shoe world, or just other marketing deals. I want to see now what that money looks like moving forward, right? Because for so long, companies and brands were able to say, well, why are we paying X amount when they only make this amount through the W, right? So
Right.
I want to see how that translates now.
Could you make that same argument with NIL in college sports?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now I have a couple kids. They're in the transfer portal right now, right?
Mhm.
And it's chaos to me because one, it's like, these are still kids. Like, people could say, "Oh, I'm 19, I'm 20, I'm 21." You're still a kid. You
Yes,
really are.
yes.
and hopefully you, no matter if it's your parents, your grandparents, aunt or uncle, or big brother or sister, somebody's in your life that's helping you navigate this process, right? So that people are not taking advantage of you. You know what I mean? But even, because if, like, for the last couple of years, there's always been that misconception of, well, college players make more money, and it's like they don't. But it's like, it's just like people are talking past each other, right? And it's like your NIL rev share is great, but like you can't match that up with the W's player contract and then forget all of the marketing deals and money that they make off the court.
Off the court.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? So it's going to be interesting with that. And just speaking on that, I think some of those numbers in the NIL world are going to start going down too, because these kids can't. You're not gonna get your return on your investment like that. You know what I mean? So obviously, I think what you see in NIL is more comparable to the NBA in a sense where you have your blue bloods, right? And let's just say women's college basketball, right? You got your UConns, you got your Tennessees, your Notre Dames, where they have a not only a brand identity, they have a program, but then they have such a large following around the world, right?
Right.
So like those individuals at those schools, they understand how it is, right? Because basically you are paying this child who's at one of those schools, but you're really paying them so that you are now allocating and entertaining that consumer base. That's the alum, that's just the general fans, or whoever it may be, right? And I think that the where we got to get into the W, which we will as years continue to happen, because the W is so young, right? Where now we're gonna see. You go to Paris, France, you see an Aces jersey. You go to Cairo, Egypt, you see, maybe a Liberty jersey, whatever it is, right? So now it becomes more of a global.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why even seeing Asia do her Nike tour in Europe was so dope and
Exactly.
amazing. And
Jealous.
and it was crazy because before that, people was, oh well, women can't sell shoes or nobody's gonna pay attention. Well, from what I saw, they was paying attention and they was out there.
People bought them. People bought them.
Absolutely. So it's
I tried
great.
to get a pair. I was late to the party. The first thing
Oh
was like,
man,
hey.
yeah, man. So it's great, and like I said, that's the first like signature athlete in a W have her own tour. Like that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And all it does is like everything. I wish somebody that's teaching sports marketing and marketing at a college university make that a case study, an actual course on what Jade has done as her agent, what her mom and dad have done, and what Asia's done as her ecosystem, because what she's doing is stuff that people are going to be studying 20, 30, 40 years from now.
Exactly, yes. Because that's definitely generational wealth, but also too generational for women's sports as well. Because, like, for example, Trinity Rodman for the Washington Spirit,
Yes.
when they had their new CBA deal, was the first $1 million ball player for the league. So that also is both generational case studies.
Yes.
Speaking of, and you did briefly touch on Azare Stevens.
Yes.
The season she had is with Unrivaled. What did you like about that?
Well, I mean, so let's go back to the first year. First year, I mean, was amazing, right? She competed in the 1-on-1. And then she won with Rose. But I think more importantly, what happened was people were able to see her game. Like, whoa, she's skilled, because her up until this past W season, she's had like knick-knack injuries. She's had certain things happen, so people weren't able to see it, right? So I think last year playing in our rivals in RU, it kind of like just kind of like gave everybody like, oh, it's a taste. Then you saw what she did during during the season with the Sparks, and then this year, it was good, but saying she kind of like shut it down just a little bit, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because she was just trying to make sure that health wise she was okay and taking care of herself. But again, so talking about CBA, right? So she's one of the top free agents right now. So so it's going to be interesting once that date happens to see where she lands and what happens, right? Because she is a unicorn on the court. She can do so many different things, and she's a nightmare as far as a matchup, because if you put somebody smaller, she's shooting over the top of them. You try to put somebody her size or bigger, she's gonna blow right past them, right? So yeah, so like Arrival is dope. I love it. You know what I mean? Especially if you are like really really a student of the game and the craftsmanship of the game, then you're gonna love that.
Yeah, I at first with the first year with Unrivaled, I was struggling to get into it, but with
Mm-hmm.
this year, I started following a little bit more, and also with Athletes Unlimited too.
Mm-hmm.
Because both leagues, I try to keep up with both of them as well. It's just
Mm-hmm.
how both leagues took kind of a step forward and kind of seeing like, oh, like okay, like you kind of seeing like players kind of taking that extra step, like you said with Osray, like Ray
Mm-hmm.
Burrell. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think is a sleeper for like 6 women of the year this upcoming season, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Tina
Yeah, I can
Charles,
say
who
that for sure.
Tina Charles, who's looking like losing a step.
Mm-hmm.
Misa Mara, who could be, I'm just saying it right now. I'm not saying Misa Mara could be a potential all-star. I'm just saying like little things like that. It's just it's interesting to see what leagues like that are helping their growth of the game. So I like that.
And you also can see who's working on their game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can't be stagnant in this thing. Like you got to constantly trying to get better and work on your game if you want to be the best of the best. Yes. You got to work on your game continuously. So and by me, like I said, my background is the skill development because I played. So that's the stuff I pay attention to. Is like, are you getting better? What are you working on? And let's see that jump from year to year.
I like that. Speaking of college women's basketball, we're now in the Sweet 16. Is there any teams that you're looking? You have your team to win it all?
Man, to win it all, the field is open. It's. I mean, I have one player that I work with that's still playing, which is going to be a battle tomorrow. Notre Dame versus Vanderbilt. That's gonna be one for the books. So I want to see how that goes. Obviously UConn is the favorite, right? They're back to being a well-oiled machine, but you never know. That's why you got to play the game. I'm just glad to see the attention that the young ladies are getting, and there's the high level skill of basketball that we're able to watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just excited to see who's able to bring it home.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still gonna go with UConn, and then there's I can't pick the other team right now. It's a toss up between South Carolina, UCLA. I'm gonna ride for Hannah Hidalgo. I got right for the underdog.
Okay. So who do you have getting to the Final Four?
I have all 4 number 1 seeds.
Oh, see, I don't think that's gonna happen.
You don't think so?
Nah. No, two of the number 1 seeds about to have some problems. And it's not South Carolina, it's not UConn.
Do you think it's gonna be Texas and
UCLA?
UCLA. Oh, really? You think UCLA's gonna have some problems?
Mm-hmm.
If they play against Duke or LSU?
It's definitely Duke. Definitely Duke. And Texas. I mean, I'm a ride with the Cardinals in that one. I don't think Texas could beat Louisville.
You know what? Damn, Greg. Now you got me thinking about that. Yeah, I didn't think about that because Kara definitely got that might be if because that Duke LSU game, that's going to be a bloodbath.
Oh, it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real. I just think Duke is so highly coached that she's gonna have them ready, and they play so hard. I just don't see UCLA. I don't see it. And again with Texas, I just don't think Texas is gonna have it for 4 quarters to beat Louisville.
That's true, and especially seeing it in person with Duke. I know that the squad was different last year because now Lucia Connor was with us, but like seeing how Kara coaches her team defensively, like that's a different type of defense.
Yes,
like I know like Brenda as a head coach when it comes to Maryland, her defense
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I think it doesn't get the credit it deserves. But with
I agree with that.
With Kara, like it's different, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm curious, especially how they guard Flage in that matchup. That's going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, like I said, I could be wrong. I just don't. That Duke team is rolling, man. I don't. It's gonna be interesting. So, like I said, those two number ones, Texas and UCLA. I don't see neither one of them making it to the Final Four.
I did have a couple other questions for you, if you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
mind me
Go
asking.
ahead.
This year we saw the continued rise of Audie Crooks,
Mm-hmm.
and before she was in the early conversations for National Player of the Year,
For sure.
and then there was kind of a decline, I think, just in
Mm-hmm.
terms of competition. The
Mm-hmm.
criticisms that she's gotten in terms of
Mm-hmm.
style of play, where do you see how would you see her game, and where does she need to continue to get better
I would love to see her be able to step out 18 feet plus, right?
in?
And be able to officially shoot that. I had a front row seat because I have a young lady that I represent that played at Iowa State. She's just into the Porter Reese Beatty, freshman point guard there. I love Aldi though because like people, we got this weird thing in our society where it's like it's like racism and sexism live on the same
Same
street.
street, and it's sad. They're like next door
And
neighbors.
yeah, and it's so weird because everyone's like, "Oh, well, she's too big. She's this," and I'm like, "Well, she played a lot of minutes. I don't know what y'all seeing. I mean, just because her body type, but like she's playing and she, God willing, stays healthy. But she hasn't had no injuries like that. I don't. So at the end of the day, I think people try to minimize right the greatness of Audie, and it's unfortunate because she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, for sure. And then looking at kind of overall this getting ready for the draft,
Hmm.
is there anyone that you're particularly hoping can be a Washington Mystic?
Oh wow. Um. Okay, what do y'all need? What do y'all need right now? To help me out. What do y'all
Um,
need?
we need. I think in my personal opinion, we need a center. As much as
Okay.
I love Kira, I think she's a true power forward. Um,
Okay, I agree with that.
I,
Okay.
I think Georgia Amore is a good guard, but I look at her because of her size.
Hmm.
I kind of, if they had had her off ball
Hmm.
and just kind of like how like Sir Tidiasu role
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah. Yeah.
just draft a point guard.
Hmm.
I could see that because her coming off an injury, I'm curious to see
Hmm.
how that would look. We definitely need some depth in the wings.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
just need some size and some posts.
I would. You know what's so crazy? I don't know what the cap looks like for the Mystics, but I would expect him to get busy in free agency. I would expect him because it's like you kind of have like your young core, right?
Yep.
Um, so what can you put around them? It's I'm trying to think. Is there anyone in the draft that's going to be like a
And
Citron 2.0 that could really shock some people? Because I've been watching her play since she was playing with the Philly Bills and for a Nike circuit. So I'm trying to see if somebody that makes sense. But I think they should go into free agency and try to figure it out.
well, last year I wasn't mad at the Sonya pick. I didn't mind
Hmm.
that. I really wanted Anissa here, but then it
Mm.
kind of made sense. And then the year before, I mean, I'm not mad at the Aaliyah Edwards pick the year prior.
Hmm. Hmm.
I get it, but I'm like, you're really going to pass up on Angel Reese, but that's okay. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, personally, like I hate to say this, but I think point
Hmm.
guard, center, wing, like if they got like Raven, just let Georgia
Hmm.
be the two guard.
What pick do you guys have?
You have the fourth. Hold on, I can tell you actually right now. Cause
Okay.
I did a mock draft. But
Okay. All right.
shout out to Nick Andre a
Hmm.
couple weeks ago. So you have
Okay.
the fourth, the ninth, and 11th picks.
Ooh, that was some good. That was some good picks. I mean, personally, at the 4 spot, I would take Raven Johnson if she's available.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. I would not play around with that. If she's available, you better take her.
Yes.
At the 9th spot, I think it's tricky.
I have a player, but I already know I've gotten flamed because of her team. It was all that? Cody McMahon.
What about the young lady that plays for Maryland?
Yarden Garzone?
Yeah.
Yarden, I think her tournament run, I think, kind of dipped a little bit because she finished between the Big Ten tournament and these last 2 games. She was 2 of 20 behind the arc. I think I don't know like what happened down the stretch. I mean, she could definitely shoot the 3. I would not mind a Yarden Garzone, but as a first round.
Well, I would say I think she would be good, but I also think the young lady out of UCLA will be good too.
Kiki Rice?
Nope.
Oh, Leslie Walker?
Nope.
Lauren Betts?
Nope.
Jaquez?
Nope.
I'm trying to think.
You gotta get your Google on. You gotta.
No, because
you missing one.
Suarez?
No. Who's the starter 5?
Oh man, hold on, because I should know that because they came to Maryland. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, Gianna Nipnies.
She's rough. And she's gonna be able to at the next level. She's gonna really be able to show what she can do.
Yeah, I forgot about Gianna. She did. Yeah. Yeah, because it's pretty much the entire starting 5 is gonna be in this draft.
Yeah, but she's I really like her game. So if she's available at 9, I would say y'all need to snatch her up.
How do you feel about there's going to be 2 expansion teams this year?
Man, I love it. I'm really interested to see what they both do. But like Portland is dope and is an amazing city, but Toronto in the summertime, that's a whole different animal. So it's gonna be dope. It's just great seeing the games growing and it's one of those things where it's like I welcome it. And it's gonna be amazing to see like what those 2 front offices are able to put together, especially after seeing what Golden State did. You know what I mean? It's gonna be interesting to see now that even though we're expansion team, we coming in to win. Like we're not coming to just be, the footstool for the powers that be that's already here. Because I don't think nobody expected Valkyries to do what they did. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, let's take that approach. Let's try to win.
For sure. The only thing my caution is, I think they had the right pieces in place, but just like you said, like you earlier, you can grab the recipe. But it's still going to taste the same. So, like you will have to create your own identity as an organization. So, like, what do you want your identity to be?
Yeah.
So, like, Golden State.
Yeah, but then you look at the two coaches for Portland and for Toronto, and it's like you're going to have some interesting pieces. And, again, this new CBA it does a lot, right? So now it's going to be interesting to see how this works.
For sure. And then, oh my gosh, Skylar. Do you see with her, what she's meant to Indiana as well, basketball? Because she was actually one of the first players as well when I was going along with the WNBA, other than watching the Maya Moores and
Skylar is interesting because Dana passed Skylar to be top. So Dana's number 5 all-time scoring and Skylar's 6. So that's interesting. But Skylar is our version of what Allen Iverson did in bringing hip hop to the NBA like that. I think Skylar had a significant role of what she did because she was a rock star at Notre Dame. And if you could you imagine how much money Allen Iverson would have made if he padded like the sleeve? Now, what do you think? And I think about the amount of money Skylar would have made off of the head tie.
Oh, tons of money. She would have been the face of NIL at Notre Dame.
You see what I'm saying? Face of the world. Like you got to think about like. And it's so funny, like she had like Lil Wayne courtside in South Bend watching games. You know what I'm saying? She's like, that was we've never seen nothing like that, and you probably never will. What she was doing, like she had the who's of who coming there to watch, and I think sometimes things get lost in translation of like what she really means to the game. Because everyone has their opinion of her and certain things, or they try to say, "Well, she hasn't won," and it's like, no, she's a winner. Let's not do that. She's a winner. But yeah, no, to Indiana high school basketball, like Skylar's one of those ones for sure.
And a lot of people forget she took a team that when they left Tulsa, Dallas, she is an instrumental part in them where they are now, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In terms of winning, but also to like, I think in terms of her style of play as a guard, I think that you'll never see like another Skylar Diggins. That's just my opinion.
No, you're not. She's just, man. I really hope one day, once she's done, she has like a doc come out her own 30 for 30. Like she should have a 30 for 30 just for her time in Notre Dame. Like everything that she did to the. Do you know? Can you imagine how much money she made in Notre Dame?
Oh, she made hundreds. Hundreds.
But like they're still making money off of her to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's unheard of. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, like because of everything she did at the high school level and at the college level, like Skylar should have been a signature shoe athlete. She should have been. You know what I mean? But because of times, she's just ahead of her time.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I agree with that. Yeah. And then, Greg, I always ask people this when I bring them on in for interviews. What is your why?
Man, that's a great question. My why is my mother, being a Black woman. My why is leaving a legacy and trying to leave this world better than I found it. Right. So by the time God calls me home, being able to put people in position and help those and just leave a blueprint behind so that someone that looks like me comes from where I come from can have an opportunity to just succeed in life.
I like that. And then really quick, anything coming up with G2 Hoops?
Man, we got a lot of things coming up, man. Now that the CBA is like signed, sealed, and delivered, we getting ready for All Star in Chicago. We trying to put some things together, man. So people stay tuned to that. Once we kind of get things kind of going and finalize, I'll send you some invites. But we're looking to have something Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday events and activations. So that's what we working with, and obviously. Waiting to see, what this free agency looks like, and go ahead and get the season going.
And also the expansion draft too.
Absolutely. That's I like stuff like that. I'm a nerd. Like I like stuff like that. I be looking at stuff like and I had to stop. So on X, I had to stop breaking down like college kids games and who I like because people were like, oh, he must be trying to go after them or he's trying to sign them. And then I had one agent was like, I knew you didn't want to sign this particular young lady, but you broke her game down. You showed me some things. I just had to go. I was like, hey, have fun. I didn't want to sign her, but great. So I had to stop doing that though because I was noticing that I'm making people money out here. So let me chill out.
It's all good. But I mean, again, that's part of your background as a skills and developing
for sure
as a coach, because that's what makes others great. And for me, like that's when I said it earlier in my intro, like having people like that in your circle, that goes a long way in life. So
yes.
With Dana and Azra having someone like you in their circle and seeing like where their careers are currently both champions, and just to see like where they're at now and where they're going to be once after the game of basketball, they have to thank you for that. So, and you know what you're doing for the game of basketball, and what you'll do after, and what you'll continue to do for the game of basketball as well. So, I definitely
appreciate that.
Your flowers from that as well.
Definitely appreciate that.
Yep. Is it okay if I leave your Instagram and the link for people to follow?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes. And again, I can't wait. It's going to be interesting WNBA season, and we're almost ready for. I can't believe college basketball is almost coming to a close.
Yeah.
It's just like, where's the time going? And then baseball starting, and then the NFL draft is almost around the corner too.
Yeah. It's a lot going on. Whole lot going on.
A lot going on. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Greg, I appreciate you hopping on, sir, and continue to do great work. And ladies and gentlemen, you can find his Instagram in the description below. You can follow me on Twitter at one Nathan Snell as well. Please like, comment, and subscribe for our featured content for the podcast. And until then, I will catch you on the flip side. Have a good night. Peace. Stay up.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.